My name is Tyler Harrell, and I did my mass fatality research project about the Oklahoma City bombing back in 1995. I was just a few months old when this happened, but everybody just still that was old enough to remember back then just kind of remembers it as being yesterday. It occurred on April 19th, 1995, and a man that did it was named Timothy McVeigh, and he was a white supremacist, homegrown terrorist, whatever you'd like to call it. He had spent some time at this little community called Elam City. It's about 15 minutes from where I live, and they call themselves like a radical religious group, but the rumors are they're white supremacists anyway. But they've got their own little camp, big, tall chain link fences, and they've got watchtowers all over. There's probably about 50 to 100 people in there. And I go down there and pick up decedents because my grandfather, when he was county commissioner here years and years ago, got to know the owner. I say the owner, the main guy, John Millar is his name. Got to know him really well, and he really liked my grandpa. And so we get everybody that passes away in their little community. It's kind of eerie being down there just because of the rumors and stuff. I mean, you will pass guys like riding four-wheelers and carrying shotguns and stuff with them, but I think for the most part, other than Timothy McVeigh being there for a little while, they haven't really been in any trouble with law enforcement, other than they give them a hard time when they come down there and stuff like that. It had a huge impact on not only the state of Oklahoma, but the United States. The president sent FEMA down to help assist during this. They lost 168 people passed away. It was actually 169. They had a bunch of body parts, and one leg in particular. There's a story about it, and some tissues and stuff that they couldn't identify. So they put all that stuff in one casket and had it buried as well. So some people say 168 passed away. Some people say 169. And the funny thing about that is Timothy McVeigh's defense attorney tried to use that leg that they found that they couldn't identify. He tried to tell the jury that maybe that was the leg of the real bomber, which was just ridiculous. The jury didn't buy it, but anyway, they tried to use that as kind of a scapegoat for him. What he used was a big Ryder truck full of about 4,800 pounds of ammonium nitrate fertilizer, nitromethane, and diesel fuel mix. And he just blew up this big building. And I never really heard a reason why, but they did a survey on it a year later, and they did, I can't remember how many adults, but 61% of that survey that they did, every adult experienced at least one direct impact of the bombing. They recorded higher stress levels, alcohol use and smoking, suicidal thoughts, things like that went up about a year after the bombing, just in Oklahoma City. Funeral directors were just overwhelmed in the town of Oklahoma City and even the surrounding towns. Like I said, the president sent in FEMA. That was the only external resource that they sent in, with the funeral directors and everybody else helping out in law enforcement agencies, first responders, stuff like that. How this event affected the funeral director afterward. The FDIC at my family funeral here in Sallisaw, he was employed at a funeral about 100 miles or so away from Oklahoma City, but he still got a few of the decedents that passed away, and he had some friends in Oklahoma City that he talked to pretty regular. that were having to deal with that. And he said that fear was a really big factor. He said all of his friends were calling him when it happened, and they were just scared. And he said that they stated that they just weren't sure it wouldn't happen again. And then their anxiety was really high. They were thinking that another bombing could take place. And at the time, it was rumored that Timothy McVeigh had set up several more locations of explosives. But anyway, they found that all out to be false. So